Good afternoon, everyone. I think you are in a tight schedule. So we'll try our level best so that we can touch the key points of the tour so that you can see them. In most parts of Johannesburg, you'll see the mine tailings, because this is decomposition soil that is coming out of the ground when the gold was discovered. So we still have them, but for us people that are living in Soweto, we call them the dividers. Divided in 3 phases. We are having the high classes, the middle classes, and the low classes. So expect more. This is the good side of Soweto now that you're seeing. This is the privilege where in 1970s, late 1970s, when black people, they were given opportunity after 1976 so that they can own the property. They were not owning the property, let me say that, but having the luxury houses. This is the first part of Soweto, where you can get most of the famous people. If you know the Ivan Koza, which is the chairman of Orlando Pirates, lives in this area. Fred Chikan, which is the politician, used to live around this area. Lucas Hadebe. So in our phases of schools, it's divided into 2. We have the primary schools and we have in the high school. On the right hand side, we are having the second phase of Soweto, which is the origin of, not the origin of Soweto, but these houses, we call them the mesh boxes houses. The mesh, you can see the structure of the house, it's like a mesh box. Why again we call the mesh boxes? Okay, let me explain. Where you see a lot of people, it's a funeral. Our black funerals, you see a lot of people, it's like a wedding. It's like a wedding where you see people coming in numbers for a burial. After the burial, you'll see a lot of people sitting. We are still passing the hospital in the left hand side. We are still passing the hospital. On the right hand side, we are having the landmark of Soweto. In most of the parts of Soweto, you need to see those towers, which is the landmark of Soweto. Guys, have you ever been in a public transport here in Soweto? Anyone? Besides you, besides the locals, have you been to Texas? Do you have the idea what is a taxi? Do you? What is a taxi? Minibus, like that one. That one. Have you been inside it? You need to be. You have to be there. Soweto is not poor. Yes. Remember, Soweto is one of the richest townships, and it's one of the largest townships that we are having here in South Africa. Because a lot of things, we are rich, our history is very rich, meaning that it's easier to make a living around Soweto. The
can't do this anymore. The first school to start to boycott classes, it was Pefeni Senior Secondary School. That school is just a throw stone away from Mandela House. It was 18th of May, 1976. The second school to follow, it was Orlando West High School. Both schools are in Village Street. So prior to that, the students had private meetings in private locations, because if the police knew they were having meetings, they were going to arrest them. And some of the students, they linked the information to the police when was going to be the march. So they made it there. It was June 16, 1976. From 3,000 to 10,000 students gathered themselves around this street, which we call it Moema and Corner Village Street. They were going to Orlando Stadium just to submit their peaceful memorandum saying we can't do this anymore, to hell with Africans. One of the policemen threw this line that you see over here. We call it the line of fire. It starts by the entrance of the museum, connecting to the other trees in Moema Street, going to the last olive tree, which you'll find in Village Street, where the young boy Hector Peterson got a bullet. They said we're gonna give you like 15 minutes to disappear, but the students, they refused. They were singing a song that it was banned that time, and the song goes by Nkosi Singelela i-Afrika Senzeni na Izono Zetu Lokuba Mnyama. Even that song now is part of our national anthem, and that song simply means God bless South Africa. What have we done? Our sin is to be black. So the police, they were provoked that time. They started throwing tear gas at the students, but it was a windy morning and a cold morning again. The tear gas was against them. They took out dogs after that, and the students killed one of the dogs with a stone, the only weapon that they were using. That time they said one soldier down. I guess the life of a dog was more precious than the life of a black child. They started shooting after that. The first 5 bullets that they shot, it caught that young boy that you see on the picture there. His name was Hector Zoli.